Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode of Bitcoin Trade here. Looks like we have someone who also made a comment, Mr. Sanjia Naiwang. I'm sorry if I horribly mispronounced that. But anyway, that's from this person right there, or his online identity. It says, "Hey, enjoyed this talk. Interesting, you say you're running out. I guess you don't want to use exchanges so much." So I'm assuming you're talking about an exchange, perhaps like local Bitcoins or Bitfinex or Bitstamp or some of those other typical exchange that you would see like any of these exchanges up here. Lighting's horrible. Hold on. Let me get back. All right, there you go. You can see that a little bit better. So you're probably talking about like Bitstamp, Bitsy, Bitfinex, Hobu, or maybe a myriad of any of these particular markets. Um, so I do use exchanges, um, but I don't really get my Bitcoins from the exchanges. Typically, what I do, the only time I ever use exchanges, maybe I'll buy Bitcoins from another trader, another miner. And again, I don't use local Bitcoins anymore because I was asked by by the staff of local Bitcoins to no longer use their platform. So I no longer do. And I bet uh, the when I first started, I was pretty exclusive to using local Bitcoins. But my experience with any kind of income or revenue stream is you don't want to rely on just that one stream because if that stream of revenue closes or is diverted or is shut out, you're shut out from it, you're screwed. And that's just typical. If you ever gone into business for yourself, or if you ever make money for yourself, like you are self-employed, or you know, income, you make your own income without an employer, you learn very quickly that you can't rely on just one source of income, especially when you're in business for yourself, because then you become a lapdog for that one source of income, right? And they can screw you really good. They can hold back payment. They can do all sorts of weird shit, and you have no choice but to bend over and just take it in the ass. So if anything, I learned to uh, generate many revenues, many streams of income, and local Bitcoin in the beginning was the only one, but know I I understand from my own personal experience that that's not the only place you want to make your only stream of revenue. All right, and um, so I started trading directly peer to peer, and I trade with many different people. I also have many partnerships, um, and so it does a couple things. It decentralizes your revenue stream. Excuse me. It decentralizes your revenue stream, so you have many revenue streams, and for one reason or another, they shut down or it stops flowing. You're not you're not exposed to that kind of risk, and that's the whole point is you don't want to be exposed to that risk, and it also gives you lets you retain the power of saying, hey, fuck you. You know, ultimately, if you can't say fuck you to anybody, you're not you're not in a position or in control of your life. All right. Um, so that's just my opinion. That's my attitude. If I cannot say fuck you to you, then I'm not in control of my life. You are, or somebody else would be in control of my life. Now we all have to answer to somebody. You can never get away from that. especially when you're interacting with other entities. But at any point in time, you know, there should be nothing stopping you from saying fuck you and walking away. You know, if you can't do that, then you know I would say you're not in a good position. And so let's go back to the viewer's question right here. Is hey, enjoyed this talk. Interesting. You say you were running out. I guess you don't want to use exchanges so much. How I use exchanges, basically, I would purchase a Bitcoin, and then I would transfer the Bitcoin to the exchanges. Sending, you know, money directly to the exchange is the last resort I use. That is when I cannot find anyone to sell me any Bitcoins, or they just don't have any Bitcoins, or they're not selling any Bitcoins. I just can't get any Bitcoins anywhere else. My last resort is, okay, I'm gonna have to send some money to these fucking exchanges and you know, go buy some Bitcoins off the exchange. I don't really like doing that for a couple of reasons. Now, first of all, it does take a while to do that. There is some cost of doing it. Now, whether the wire or the sending of the money is free or not, it takes your time. It takes time in general, and then it takes your physical activity of going someplace to get, you know, the money sent, or I guess you could do it online or something like that. And there's probably some cost. I mean, there's a cost for me kind of doing the same thing with the miner or a trader. But the reason why I don't like using the exchange is because I usually buy in large amounts. As much as I usually try to get as much as I can within a reasonable volume. Depending on what my volume increases, my purchases increases. My volume goes down, my purchasing kind of goes down. So I try to stay within the range of my comfort, because I don't want to, you know, last thing you want to do is overextend yourself and then you have a liquidity freeze. You know, as a person who trades, you know, that's the last thing you want is a liquidity freeze. And I try to warn a lot of my partners about liquidity freezes, and sometimes they just don't listen. And after a while, you know, I just drop them as a partner because, you know, they just don't listen. You know, and they don't understand, or they think they just know it all, and I just let them go. I just goodbye. So, anyways, so I do use exchanges. The way I use them is typically I will send the Bitcoins to the exchange, and then usually they'll stay there. I'll put some kind of limit, sell order, so that if, you know, the whole point is, you know, you bought it at a certain price, you want to sell it at a higher price. And so I'll do that, and then or I'll just sell it right away, because I would use it as a way of sending money to the exchange without sending money to the exchange without using a bank, because I don't want any of those motherfuckers knowing what I do. Not because I'm doing anything wrong, because then, you know, they may take advantage of that information. Okay? And I don't want, you know, they already know a lot, all right? They know what I buy, how much I make, how much I'm spending. I mean, they already know that. They got all that information. And then they take that information and they market that information, or they use that information for their own gain. And you know, it's like, you know, I just don't want to help them anymore. I don't want to help them make any more money than they already are if they're not willing to help me make money. You know, it goes both ways, right? If you're not willing to help me make money and achieve all my dreams, why should, you know, explain to me, why should I help you achieve all your, you know, why should I help you in achieving your goal so you can get a, you know, a bonus at the end of the year, or at the end of the month, whatever. There is no incentive for me, so you know, I'm just not going to do it. And so I do use exchanges, but I typically use them for hedging. So, you know, it does work, but normally nowadays, I don't typically use them as much as I used to because my strategy has been evolving from beginning to now. In the beginning, I used to use exchanges a lot. I really relied on exchanges quite a bit. Um, Now, not as much. Not as much. I mean, they're usually the last resort, and usually, if that's the case, that means the price is going to go up. So I usually try to get money in there as fast as I can and just start buying right away. Because if I can't get any Bitcoins, that means other people can't get Bitcoins. So that means there's really good pin-up demand. So, anyways, yeah, I do. But really, my preference is just to go peer to peer, straight peer to peer. Um, it's, you know, I there's been some risk in doing that. Of course, people getting mugged and robbed. Seems like most of it's in New York. Strange that state that doesn't allow um, uh, or that's very restrictive of firearms. People tend to get mugged with firearms. How do you explain that? So, anyways, there's some ways you can mitigate that on a peer-to-peer level. Believe it or not, I carry like let me see, how many guns do I have with me at all times? I carry at least one, but sometimes two or three. And then I got my other knives. I usually have one knife in the jacket, one knife in the vest, and another tiny, smaller knife in the pocket. Um, and if you don't have any of those, um, you still bear arms, right? Your left arm and your right arm, right? So yeah, you got your bare arms. All right. Um, so, anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for your comment. I guess you could say my life is interesting. I guess it always seems that other people's lives are interesting, but really my life is not very interesting at all. It's very tiresome. Um, you know, it's hard work. Um, it's draining sometimes. But what drives me is the core fundamentals of what I believe I'm doing. That's the driving force is your I guess your belief system and the things that you believe you're doing and why you're doing it. And every day I wake up and I don't say to myself, "Oh gosh, I gotta go and trade Bitcoin again." Oh. I don't do that. You know, when I wake up in the morning, first thing that's on my mind is not okay. First thing on my mind is, what can I do today? What can I do right now? What can I do right now? What can I do today? That's the first thing that goes up on my mind. And usually it's like, what do I have to do today? What do I get done today now? And so, it is a different life, and it is a different, you know, you, it's a different way. It's changed my life pretty much. And once I think once you get into this kind of lifestyle or this way of life, it's hard to go back. It's hard to go back because it's almost like once you open the bottle, once you open the bottle and let the genie out, hard to put the genie back in because the genie does not want to go back in. It's very hard. So what has been done is done and cannot be undone. That's what I gotta say. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you continue to watch, and feel free to make further comments. Now let's go on to the chart analysis, shall we? Alright, so here we are. Now, boy, we've had a fall in price. So not only did it hit the 400 fib line, it's broken down and it's almost reaching to the 374 fib line. And so as you see here, and it worked out for me. Okay, um, you know, I when you start trading and your strategy is okay. First of all, let's just go over the price here. Here's the Bitfinex. That's the current price. You see it's falling quite a bit. I'm on a 12-hour just to show you on the fib line, and there's a different corresponding prices. Bitstamp is at 392.96, BitC 393. So when you see BitC higher than Bitstamp or Bitfinex, it's usually kind of like a pre-tail warning sign of prices are falling or prices have fallen. Bitfinex is now back up higher than all the other exchanges, and Hobu is, that thing is inaccurate. They're actually at 400 from last time I checked. I don't know why it's not converting or whatever, but it should be $400 if you convert it correctly. And so Hobu seems to be higher in the price. So there's some stratification, but the fact that BitC is higher than Bitstamp and very very close to Bitfinex, you know, that's you know, prices have fallen. So, and you can see the RSI has gone down, but the thing about RSIs, if you ever noticed, like you know, if you look at that, you know, you would think that, man, the price should have just fallen, you know, down dramatically to zero if you look at it, but it didn't. You know, if you look at the overall price from basically from here, if you look at the overall, you'll see that this is just, I would say, a pullback for the most part. I would be worried, you know, this is when you really start worrying, is that if it falls below 300. I think that there's been a lot of pressure to push higher, but obviously that pressure is not sustainable. And you know, that's fine, because now that the price has gone down, it's cheaper to buy Bitcoins. So anyways, let's go on the hourly real quick. And I didn't put any more limits after it moved up a little bit. Let me see, it came down here. It hit all my limit orders all the way up to 420, moved up a little bit, and as it was consolidating, went up to 430. I was okay with that. I was trading Bitcoin, and then, you know, I almost got squeezed out, and but then the price fell, and it hit all my other limits at 410, 400, and 390. And so if you average that out, if I purchase one each at $10 increments, my average should be 400, right? So, but I didn't. I had different prices at different areas for different reasons. But anyways, I'm averaging it, you know, I'm averaging it going down. So it doesn't, you know, it doesn't mean that, you know, if you made a purchase at, you know, 410, you didn't necessarily, you know, lose, well, you lost X amount of dollars. But if I purchase at 390, that I made a slight gain. So my point is, if you average costs going down, it's not that bad. And that's kind of the strategy that I've kind of kept. It's worked for me. It's average cost, and I don't worry when the price falls when I do that. You know, because I know whatever the price is, I didn't lose X amount at one certain price. You know, I lost X amount at different levels of price, reducing my risk. So, you know, for example, if I had, you know, 10 Bitcoins at 410 versus 10 Bitcoins at between 410 to 390, my average price should be 400, not exactly at 410. It's a $10 difference, but, you know, when you have 10 Bitcoins or 100 Bitcoins, you know, that's $100 to $1,000 difference. You can use that extra $100 to $1,000 to buy more Bitcoins at a lower price. So So that's why I average cost it, because I don't really know when the price will bottom. I just know when it does, um, it'll show up on the chart, obviously, but you won't know at the time until like what 3, 4, or 5 days later. So that's what I've done. I still have a lot more limit orders below that, and I don't mind if they get hit. I'm actually happy because I sold quite a bit um, at the higher price range, um, just because people come to me and they want to buy bitcoins, and I want to make it available for them to buy bitcoins. And if I have to sell my bitcoins and buy them again to get the amount of Bitcoin that I want, I'll do that, as long as there's a certain amount that I just won't sell. Not because I don't want the money, it's just because it's locked up. It's in a different wallet. It's a paper wallet. It's a whatever, multi-signature. So when I get low, I know I always have Bitcoins. Okay, there's no, it's not, when I tell my other traders, people who buy from me, and mostly people who buy, my buyers, and then I have sellers. Um, I have no Bitcoin. I mean, I have no Bitcoin to trade. All right, because I have these Bitcoins, but these are mine. I'm never going to be giving you any of these. You know. So, um, anyways, so what's going on? What's in store? I think you're just seeing a pullback, mainly due to the failure of price moving up, and also there's been some recent news, some positive and some negative or whatever. The probably the most I would say impacting thing was, I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but Mike Hearn, a developer, uh, put out a blog or something. Um, Basically, he sold all his Bitcoin and said he's out. He's out of Bitcoin. He believes Bitcoin's going to go down in price because all these other problems. Um, yeah, that's fine. You have free will to do this, but he's also the same person who's employed by Receive. And if you saw my previous episode, I told you that the Dark Overlord is amassing a dark army, and will begin to attack you all. All right, mobilizing an army, and that you will have to fight your way into the new world, because the Dark Overlord will not let you go, and will not let you out of slavery just like that. And so news of Mr. Hearn's departure is not surprising to me, considering I've already told you that the Dark Overlord is amassing an army. Maybe you know it as Receive. So, anyways, maybe that might be it, or maybe it could be technical or even fundamental. Fundamental as in the actual software protocol that the developers are working on, or any mining problems or network problems and stuff like that. Other than that, I just don't. I don't. It's hard to say it's correlated. It is kind of weird that as the price went down, and if you look back, and if you see how I mapped out the chart, the week of, okay, today is, okay, it's the 15th. Okay, so today is the 15th today, and when you look at that, the 15th, the price just went down, right where this particular area right there. And if you see how I mapped out the chart, something did happen. Unfortunately, it didn't break up; it broke down. So so be it. But I've already caught all the Bitcoins that I could catch. If it goes down further, I will catch more Bitcoins. It doesn't matter to me because remember, I made most of my gains in 2015 when the price was below 250, definitely below 300. So, I'm not at a loss. Um, I'm not even at a loss of money because I was squeezed out at the top a little bit, and now I'm being squeezed in. And it kind of works, isn't it? It's kind of weird, but everything just falls into place when you start co-creating with the creator, and you become part of the creator, and then you become the creator. The universe. Sorry, everyone, I had to cut out. I received a phone call, and as I was about to say, the universe works very hard in your favor. Don't know why, it just does. Even though you have a struggle daily, even though life is not very easy for you, uh, mainly because of the Dark Overlord and the forces of the Dark Overlord working against you, no matter what happens, the universe will work in your favor always. The universe will always, all right, work its hardest in your favor. And the universe and the creator is greater than the Dark Overlord. So even though you struggle daily, or you sometimes you may lose hope, or you may doubt what you're doing. Um, not I haven't had quite that bit of problem, because when the force is strong with you, you feel it and you know it, and everything just works in your favor. Everything just falls into place right before you, and all you have to do is walk the walk. Not necessarily talk the talk, but if you can walk the walk, the path will be laid out, and without any effort on your part, everything will fall into place as you keep walking forward. So anyways, I received a phone call right when I said that, right when I cut out there, I had a phone call, and I've been struggling with something, and the answer, it's amazing when the creator calls you. You have to wonder, will you have the courage to answer the call? Well, anyways, I got a call right when I was making that video. This is my camera phone, and wouldn't you know, I got an answer. Well, I answered it, and I got what I wanted, and it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible what can happen, and I encourage every one of you to experience this, and to to get a better understanding what it's like. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Anyways, I'm let me cut out here because I got to get going. I'm a little busy, but I'll cut in later, and we'll finish this Bitcoin trade here. Okay, bye. Hello everyone, I'm cutting back in, and I guess I'll do last portion of this episode here. And as you see, the price has dramatically fallen. It's actually fallen below this 400 fib line, straight to the 475, and almost all the way down to 350. Not quite. I'm on a Bitfinex. If you want to take a look at the other prices here, it's 381 on Bitstamp. BitC 383 higher. Interesting. Don't know what's going on, but Bitfinex is 384. And I don't know if Hobu is right. I would have to click on it, but I don't. That's all right. You don't I guess y'all can figure out what the real price is. So, um, obviously, there's been a lot of turmoil lately. Uh, the question is, now obviously you saw that long trend line come through. I did take it out, but there was a long trend line. Well, I'll just go ahead and put it on. Why not? Okay, so you see the rest of how the fib line works in here. And if you look on and another thing, if you look on that, I'm sorry, I'm going on to a weekly, and if you look on the weekly, it's amazing how things just correlate with time and the price movement. It's almost like it just has a life of its own. Like literally, it is, it is a heartbeat of Bitcoin, the heartbeat of the creator of Bitcoin. This entity that just is everywhere and nowhere. It can't be controlled, can't be fingered. It's just this being just all over the place, and you're seeing the life of this being in front of your eyes through some kind of chart analysis. It's kind of weird. Anyways, let's just continue on here. I don't want to get all voodoo hoodoo on everyone. I probably scare the shit out of most people anyway. So let's see if we go a 2 hour. My gosh, a lot has been done, hasn't it? There we go. We'll just do that. Okay. Then we'll go back to a 12-hour. So, all right. So now you know where this line came from. All-time high to probably this point right here. I probably need to readjust it here, but that's a little bit further down. Let me see. That was the week of the 15th. So this huge price going down, the 15th, everyone, the 15th, Friday the 15th. So weird just how that turns out, and I didn't know if it was going to go up or down, but obviously it went down. I guess a good indicator was when it started breaking down below this price, because if does this price really have to do anything with MicroEarn? I don't know, but it's just strange how it just correlates into everything. Cryptsy threatening to file bankruptcy, or well, Cryptsy was kind of dead, so I think everyone was saying that for the longest time. Anyways, I don't think that really made an impact. I think this is just nothing more than excuse me. I think this is just no more than just a technical correction. All right, I think that's pretty much all it was, compounded by, Cryptsy, the news of Cryptsy filing for bankruptcy and the lawsuit. Also, Mike Hearn's departure, and I guess his open letter claiming the failure of Bitcoin. I think that just really compounded everything. And just amazing how that all works out with the technical analysis of the price of Bitcoin. And as you see here, it made it broke through, but it did not successfully break through, and you can see that it just bounced, and once it started breaking down, I guess a lot of it was just selling it, and once it hit 400, a lot of people were probably panicked a little bit and kept on going. Again, I know there's a lot of margin trading going on, so as the price just keeps going down, I mean the system, the trading engine, whatever, they won't take a negative. All right, they're not going to take a negative on your margin trade, so they're going to be closing out your trade, which causes more selling, ironically. And that's the danger of margin trading. So I I think that this is not it's not I don't think it's related to any news. I think the news kind of just reinforced, I think, the sell-off, but I think it was going to happen just by looking at the technical analysis. Because if you see, it didn't break through. Once it did this, it really should have shot up dramatically higher and pushed on through to 500. Because it didn't do that. It was a slow, and there was still a chance right about here. But once it broke below this fib line, which was 442.64. I mean, it was dancing around there for a while, just really struggling. But once it made that push down, I think that was it. A lot of people who were trading, speculators and everything, they kind of just felt that it probably was not going to break out. I mean, that the fact that it pushed down like that was a clear signal. That what really enforced it was the fact that it touched this, and for a while it looked like it might have been another support. Maybe you saw it here. A third time, it doesn't. It's hard to say. I was hopeful, but that's all right. It is what it is. And once it broke down below this fib line, obviously it was going to push, and it pushed really hard. Even broke through it, and halfway through right here, all the way to 350, almost down to this fib line right here. It's not uncommon for this to just break down all the way through here, because these parts right here, you're going to get probably the most action moving up and down, breaking through between these fib lines. So it almost stopped at the 350, not quite. Interesting thing about this is I've had, since the current price, I have had 410, 400, 90, 80, 70, 60. I only had it all the way down to 60, and interestingly enough, it broke through all and hit all my limits. And it's kind of amazing. You would think I'd be a little upset about the price being lower, but I'm not. I'm not actually. I'm actually kind of surprised, like happy surprised. I didn't. I don't. When I put my limit orders, I don't wish it to be hit, especially when they're lower. I do it to grab some Bitcoins, catch some Bitcoins when the price goes down and I average cost it. And so from 400 to 450, I guess is what, 475, 475 or 375 would be my average price. I did buy a little bit more at 410. That's because I did sell more Bitcoins than I wanted to at the higher prices of 450. So I was just trying to replenish the amount of Bitcoins that I want. All right. So, but if I just averaged out one Bitcoin as it went down in price, my average price is 375. And so if you look at the current price, 384.99, not bad. I did make out. And if it was a little bit lower, I wouldn't be, it wouldn't be that bad. At 375 versus 360 or 350, not too bad. It's recoverable, right? It's a different story when you're at 350 and the price goes down to, I mean, when you're at 450 and then the price goes down to 350. That's $100, which if you think about it, you got 10 Bitcoins, that's $1,000. Am I right? Yeah, $1,000. You got a, you got 100. What is that? 100 times 100. That's $10,000. 100 Bitcoins times $100. That's $10,000. All right. So that's a different story. So that's the reason why I like to average cost, especially when the prices go down, because I don't know when it's going to stop. Although it stopped, right after 360, it stopped just before 350. I didn't have any limits at 350 anyway, because didn't have any money on the exchange to put a limit order. And so it's kind of interesting that it just stops right before 350, and then now it's working its way back up. So, when you get to a level and I'm gonna get a little voodoo hoodoo here. Um, you know, I know I say this all the time. I don't know if this turns you off or turns you on or what, but I just have to say it because there's no other explanation for me to explain it. When you start co-creating with the creator, and when you become a part of the creator, and then when you become a part of the creator, you become the creator. The forces of the universe work extremely hard in your favor, and it's almost like a path is being laid down in front of you. All you have to do is just walk that path, and that's why it's important not to stray away, because the path will lead you to the new world. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And so this is another squeeze in play. A lot of people come to me because I trade peer to peer, and if I have the Bitcoins, you know I will trade with you. I will trade with you. I will never try to trade with you when I don't have Bitcoins. Okay, and I'll let you know I don't have Bitcoins, but you know, some of these traders are willing to still work with me, and I'll as soon as I get them, we'll strike and send. So um, in some cases where I'm getting low, I have to use my coins that I want and have to provide them. And so it's kind of strange how the universe works so hard. The forces of the universe work so hard in your favor. So, anyways, I uh, I sold most of my bitcoins. Not because I was worried about the price going down, just because people, when they come to me and they want bitcoins and I have them, I will trade. I will trade. And next thing I know, the price is going down. My limit orders are getting hit. I'm like, okay, I got more bitcoins at a lower price. Awesome. And then keeps going down, keeps going. And it's interesting. I had a limit orders all the way down to 360, and that's how far the price went. It's it's like almost like yep, it's almost like the the universe knows I got limit orders at 360, all the way down to 360 in $10 increments, and I guess you could say the creator and the universe wants me to have those bitcoins, and so I don't. That's the only way I could explain it. And despite the fact of you know all these things happening, you know the the, the departure of Mike Hearn, the fall of Cripsy, and these are really negative news. Um, what came out of it was something amazing. Um, you know, from what I can see, people are. It's kind of funny, It's a lot of people would consider Mike Hearn a traitor, and in some ways he is. He is a traitor. He's like Judas or Brutus or um, that ugly looking guy on 300. You ever seen that movie 300? The handicapped ugly looking guy who betrays the king of Greece or whatever. Tells him a shortcut around and all that. It's like one of those, right? He's like that ugly handicapped guy who basically betrays his belief and everything. you know that he's that person. I don't know if y'all seen 300 or not. If you've ever seen 300, you'll know what I'm talking about. So Mike Hearn is that henchman, that hunchback, ugly looking dude, and just betraying, going to the other side. Um, Interesting enough, if it wasn't for the betrayal, if it wasn't for like Judas or Brutus or that ugly looking hunchback handicap thing in the movie 300. Um, you know, the the hero, or I guess you call him the hero. You know, um, it would not be as known if you think about that. You know, so it's kind of interesting that these things had to happen. You know, when it comes to the new world, certain things have to happen, and as more of these things start to happen, you know that we're getting closer and closer and closer to the new world. It's literally, it's just going to it's going to come upon us all, and it's just, when it comes, it will be amazing. The universe, the creator in the universe will do everything and to work in your favor. You know, so the price dropping is just another squeeze in play for me, and it's kind of interesting. As soon as the price dropped, I mean, everybody wanted to buy Bitcoins. Everybody wanted, and you know what? I had them. I had them to trade. I had Bitcoins to trade. Everybody wanted Bitcoins. Oh my gosh, I never had so many people just come up to me. Just it was like one right after another. People just buying them out. I mean, it was. I guess you could say it was a frenzy, and now the prices kind of bounced up a little. I'm sure they're kind of feeling the benefits of that. But I do have a little forecasting here. You see this? This is just a bounce. There's still a chance that it will hit 350. Because if you look at the average here, and I'm on a 12-hour here. So if you look at the average, you'll see that it's pushing up, and it's reacting to that 10-period average. So you see that it's crossed over and it's hitting the 10-period average. So just be aware of that it's probably going to hit and maybe come down again. Maybe test the 375 or 374 fib line. If you could bounce off of that, that'd be awesome. If it breaks through, it'll probably most likely hit 350. So we're back down to 350. So $100 move range, that's actually pretty normal for Bitcoin. So that's actually very normal for Bitcoin. So it's not drastic, not drastic at all. It moves $100 up, goes down $100. So that's cool. And so as far as Mike Hearn, I guess let me go back to him real quick. There's just certain things that have to happen in order for Bitcoin to progress and keep going forward. And in some ways, I guess you could say symbolically, or in reality, maybe he was holding Bitcoin back. Maybe he was the one holding Bitcoin back, and that he had to leave. And it's amazing how the creator in the universe work in your favor by pushing him out, right? Having him go to this R3 or receive. It's amazing. This company is called Receive. Like, why would you want to receive anything from the Dark Overlord? So, as he departs, Bitcoin, which is the creator's invention, he's going to receive, which is the Dark Overlord's creation, which is based off of the creator's invention, ironically. Sound familiar? You see the pattern here? The Dark Overlord basically stealing the creator's idea and invention and trying to make it their own, and then proclaiming it to be better than what the creator invented. It's a common recurrent theme. It seems to me that something that is good and right can be taken away and you're being deceived and tricked into believing that this is better when it's not. So, anyways, I guess in some sense, what Mike Hearn did was a favor. You know, I guess Mike Hearn had to do what he had to do in order for Bitcoin to move on. Just like in my previous episode, Ross Ulbricht had to do what he had to do so Bitcoin can move on. And since his departure, I mean, a lot of people have really come together and have taken action to, you know, come up with a solution to, I guess, the scaling problem. Maybe not. I don't know how it goes, but I'm seeing a healing process. You know, you can almost say Mike Hearn was the salt in the wound, preventing the healing process. Now that he's gone, you know, he's been spit out. The healing can begin, and Bitcoin now may continue to live and move on, so that Bitcoin can now move on and continue to live. And so I guess it just had to happen. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. All on, you know, all on this time frame right here. Ironically, look at that. This time frame right here, which was the 15th, a little bit before the 15th. But look at how that worked out. The trend line crossing over to this fib line, giving us a time frame to work with, a timeline, and can you deny this? Can you? I mean, I'm showing this to you. What can you say? Can you all explain this to me? Please leave a comment down there and try to explain all that's happened. If you guys can come up with some kind of really good explanation on how this all came together, how it just falls into place, or do a video response. You know, explain to me how all this just comes into place, how all it just falls together, and then it's almost like the universe is just creating a path for you all to walk on. Just walk this path. You know what I'm saying? Just if you just walk this path, the path will be laid right in front of you as you go. It will just lead you to the way, lead you to the new world. So yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing. You know, I wish you all can experience this, because it's an amazing experience. And you know, whatever happens, I just don't have any doubts whatsoever. I'm so confident that this is just all part of the master plan, that you know, it doesn't even scare me or faze me one bit. The thing that fazes me or scares me is, like, you know, I just can't. It's hard sometimes to really see all this unfolding right in front of you, as if you're a part of something bigger or greater, something that obviously you have no control. Nobody has any control, you know. And you're probably wondering, who is in control? You know, how is this all able to happen? How is this all able to occur? I'm not doing this. I don't think anybody else is doing this. So who is in control of all of this? You know, and it kind of makes you wonder. Kind of makes you wonder. Like, you just have to think about it. Like, wow, how is this possible? So, and then on another note, you know, as the new world comes closer and closer and closer, you know, the people who are aligned with the Dark Overlord, um, you know, the bank closures are still continuing. I think that will just continue, and it will increasingly continue as the new world comes closer and closer into reality. And so, if there's people out there who are trading Bitcoin, or a company that is involved in Bitcoin, and you're finding that your bank accounts are being closed without any reason, um, you know, you can't get any financial services to build your company, um, that is a part of another process that must happen, because as the new world comes closer and closer, you're gonna realize that the old world is dying and dying, and that's why you can't get a bank account. That's why your bank accounts are being closed. That's why you're not getting financial services from the old world. That is supposed to happen, and what you're really supposed to do is you've got to create the new world. And the power to change the world is within you. The new world is within you. Okay? The new world is you. You are the new world, everyone. And because of that, you cannot be a part of the old world. So if you're wondering why you're not getting financial services, or there's some pushback with you and your company, banks are closing your accounts, you have to realize that is an old world order, an old world system. When you start becoming a part of the new world, you just can't. They're not compatible. The old world and the new world are not compatible. You know, this is where the wheat and the chaff get separated, and you're all going to have to come up with different ways of building the new world, everyone. You all must build the new world. Um, so, and that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build the new world. And as I do it, banks are closing my accounts. I'm not getting financial services. My credit cards are being canceled. I'm not able to get a loan. Um, these things are going to happen. And, I'm not going to go to the state, because the state cannot protect you. Okay? There's no regulation that's gonna protect you. If anything, it's gonna make it harder for you. Um, there's only one thing that can protect you, and that's even disappearing. If you go to the National Archives in Washington D.C. and you look at the Constitution, it's fading away, everybody, fading away, disappearing. And the only people who are going to remember it are the ones that actually every day exercise your rights. Every day, you get all strong and everything by doing that. And those are the people that are they're going to move on and live. Everyone else is just going to die in the old world. And um, so that's, if you're getting your bank accounts closed, you're not getting financial services, you're not getting a loan for your Bitcoin business, and you're wondering why, because the new world and the old world are not compatible. There will be no coexistence of these two worlds. One will die and the other will be born. And, that's not a threat. It is the natural order of the universe, of creation. So this must happen. And like I said, the revolution has begun. And I know for a fact that the revolution was completed. And so I hope everyone's ready. I hope everyone's ready, because the new world is coming, everyone. And isn't that wonderful that you're all a part of it? That you had a hand in creating it. And believe it or not, the new world is you. You are the new world. It's a part of you. It's in you. You are the new world. It's inside of you. All you have to do is bring it out into this physical reality. And man, it's a different world. It really is. Being a part of the new world with your new eyes and your new ears your new mouth, your new body. It's really amazing. Anyways, as far as the chart technical analysis, I would say look for a range between the 400 to 350. I think that's going to be the range. It may start consolidating into the 343, this fib line right here in the middle, but for the most part it's going to break up or it's going to break down from here. It's not just going to just stay here forever in the middle. So considering that it looks like it's kind of oversold, we'll see how much it consolidates. I'm looking for another push up higher, probably back up to 400 a little bit later on, and I want to make another line. And once it does that, I'm going to watch for that line and see how it reacts. And then now let's just get you a visual so you kind of get a better idea. So this is the line that I'm going to look for. Something here to, I don't know, somewhere, you know, I got to wait for this to push up to find out where I got to put the other point, because I need 2 points. Most likely I'm going to see if it's going to match up to something along those candlesticks right here. So I'm just going to match up something like that. Okay. Too bad I can't just click and put that right there. Oh, I can. All right. Cool. Well, since I could do that, let's give a timeline here. All right, timeline. 125, the week of 125, which is what? Let me see what day that is. It's kind of interesting to find out what day that would be. It's always interesting. Let's see, 125. That is on a Monday. So that's about almost 1 week. Actually 1 week. 1 week later. Today's Sunday. So Sunday the 17th, and then so yeah, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 days, but somewhere between then and now. I mean, somewhere the time frame right here, everybody. So look for something around that time frame to do something. Now I'm getting into forecasting. What you can start, you know, once you get your fib lines down and your lines down, you can really start forecasting both price and time. And you know, it's amazing how that works out. It's just like I said, once you start co-creating with the creator and you become a part of the creator, and then you become the creator, the universe and the creator will do everything in their power to work in your favor. Anyways, I guess this is the end of the episode here. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, also video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.